guys! We are back with Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas, the very final Throne of Glass book, theoretically. Um, talk about that at some point. But yeah, we read chapters 25 through 48 for this episode. A lot happened.
So
a
much.
lot.
Do you
Much
have
happened.
thoughts and feelings?
I have thoughts and feelings. I have a lot of thoughts and feelings. I know, it's one of the biggest criticisms, I think, of this series that there are, a lot of character perspectives, which is totally true. I love it. I love how much we get, but there's just a lot to talk about.
I also love that there's so many characters because this world is so big.
So
There's
big.
three continents.
Mm-hmm.
And just to get their perspective, it's just, I don't know, so refreshing because there's more than one.
Yeah.
It's not just one sole person.
No, and I mean, we're at the point now, I guess, if you haven't read this book, stop listening now because we're going to ruin it for you. But we're at the point now where it's a big war and there are different battles happening on different fronts and people are doing different things to try to get a leg up. And I think that having all the different character perspectives and bouncing back and forth from what everyone's trying to do to survive this big massive war, it makes it feel a lot bigger and the stakes
Mhm.
are really high, which I like. Such a good. Oh, but before we get started on talking about what happened in these chapters, I know in the last episode I was mentioning the old covers because we are lucky to have new covers because Elena bought them for us for this one. You did. But we were talking about the old covers, which are also really cool, and they all have a version of Aelin. I think that's probably our number one criticism is that it doesn't really look like Aelin because Aelin's hair is not white. But we
Mhm.
were talking about how the front cover has one version of Aelin. So this one has a really cool warrior Aelin. And then on the back is it always a different version. And in this one, she's wearing this
Oh,
beautiful, it's like a very light green blue dress, which I thought was really nice. And I
that's
don't know if you
cute.
can I don't know if you can see it, but she has a crown on with a big ruby in it and she's holding a sword. So I liked being able to see that from the version I got at the library before I got my version from Elena. But yeah, I thought that was nice. It was a nice, what I hoped was foreshadowing that she was going to come back to Terrasen since this book
Very
started with her
hopeful.
being in a coffin. Bad stuff.
Oh man, those chapters were so depressing.
Those chapters were awful. Yeah, we started
Yeah.
the last episode talking about how cheerful this book is, and we were kidding. Bad, really bad. But yeah, we can jump right into it with that, since
Yeah.
that's sort of where we stopped. Was right at the part where Rowan and God, let me make sure I've got everybody. Rowan, Alid, Lorcan, and Gabriel are about to hopefully rescue Aelin, and they do, but it does not go in the way that they thought it would. What did you guys think? At any point were you super nervous it wasn't going to work, or any thoughts on how that went down?
I think the only time I was nervous was just about Fenris. It was never a question about Aelin getting out. It was what was gonna be sacrificed in order to get her out. And I'm glad the answer was Karen's life because I don't care about him.
Yes. Yeah. I think my feelings were very similar. I wasn't worried that Aelin was going to get out, but there was a moment where simultaneously, Rowan and Lorcan and Gabrielle are waiting. So they're waiting for Dawn. They're going to go in and get her. And literally, as they're all just chilling in the trees waiting, Karen is getting ready to literally burn Aelin alive, which I was just I know this can't happen. Like plot wise, this isn't going to happen, but I'm still having a really hard time with this. And Fenris breaks through his blood oath to try to save her from this, which again, I'm like, you don't have to be doing this. They're coming. Like, just hang on 2 more seconds. But
I
yeah, we
didn't
find
know
out.
you could do that.
Well, yeah, and we find out like in that moment that to like throw off a blood oath to like break it within yourself, you have to die. Like it didn't seem like there was a loophole. So I did a whole lot of crying in that scene.
I did shed a tear when I got to the part where, like, not only like, it was either he was gonna die from the blood oath or in the hands of Karen, and I was, like, tearing up a little bit because of that. Because I think at one point it said something about how his spine cracked or something, or his back cracked. I don't know,
Maybe
it was
that
just
was
really
Aelin
sad.
when she got thrown up against
No,
the
it was no, well, that too, but it was when Karen was trying to, like, fight
oh,
Wolf Fenris off.
goodness.
And I stopped apparently at the worst time.
You're
Yeah,
good.
Jamie stopped in the middle of these scenes, like straight up, like Fenris was on the brink of death, and Jamie was like, "Oh, I have real life. I can't read anymore." And
I
I was
have
like, "Jamie,
responsibilities. Sometimes you do have real life and you have to stop reading. But yeah, it wasn't until they had like gotten Fenris out and like Aelin went to him and like put them in her little bubble that I just like lost it. I was like, I know I said that I thought he was gonna die, but I didn't think it was gonna hurt this much. And I just didn't think there was any way out of it. I was very,
how
very sad.
how funny that the person who might have probably liked Fenris the least out of us cried the most for
I
him."
died. I did. Like, there were some ugly tears. And luckily, they did not last long because Fenris doesn't die. Spoiler alert, which we already warned you about. Um, because Aelin offers him her blood oath, which like rebinds whatever was broken in him that was going to cause him
Mhm.
to die. Yeah, magic, magic, fantasy, fantasy. We don't care. It works. But yeah, so he was
I love
fine, but
that.
I definitely thought he was dead because plot wise, I'm still kind of worried, and we can talk about that if we want to. But I did not think there was a way around it. I got sad real fast. He
I'm happy
sacrificed
that
himself.
yeah, he did. I'm happy that it wasn't like an easy reunion, I guess. Like like Alien was running to the forest to Lorcan while Rowan was back at the camp. And it wasn't like, oh, them two together first. Like, you
Yeah,
know.
well, because she like breaks out as Fenris is distracting Cairn and like just starts running through like the scores of soldiers that Maeve has called to Doranel. And like Lorcan luckily sees her and is like, this way, like, oh my god, what are you doing? Um, which I thought was nice for them and everything that they've gone through, that Lorcan could like be that person that helped get her out of harm's way.
Mhm.
They're working on it slowly. But yeah, it was, I don't know what you guys think, but it was hard for me. And I don't know why I thought this, but like my brain did not go like third book Hunger Games in terms of like Aylin's PTSD, but like the fact that she was real messed up. Like, and it made sense. I was like, Brooke, why did we not think of this? I'm thinking like Rowan's gonna save her. She's gonna be so excited to see him. Like, obviously, we'll have some shit to work through, but like those scenes after they got her out were very very rough.
The dreams, like the manipulation, not only like physically, what Karen was doing to her, but like mentally making her second guess what's real and what isn't. That was really tough. I mean, we even got to see like that scene where what it could have been like had she gone like had her mom shipped her off to see Maeve and all of that, what life could have been. And I'm just oh yeah, it was just like a lot. I think I was dreading more about like what else is she going to endure? like
Mm.
physically and mentally. And then, like, how much more are we going to have to take and have her go through before she gets rescued? Was my mindset for the next part of this.
Maeve is the worst.
Maeve is the worst. Yeah. I can't wait to see her die. I'm so excited.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be so good.
I
Well,
hope she's
and I mean, I think that there were a lot of really cute moments with Aelin and Rowan. One of them being like him basically apologizing for skinning Cairn alive before he killed him. And being like, hey, I kind of had to do this, but like also realized that maybe you might have wanted to kill him. So like, sorry if I stole that from you. And Aelin was obviously like totally fine with it. But I think there was like either a spoken or unspoken moment where it was like, but Maeve is all yours. Like, you got that one.
yeah.
Yeah, she does. Yeah. It was hard. It was hard like seeing those moments between the two of them where like Rowan like wouldn't touch her because he was afraid that like she would be upset by it. And there like she was, like physically and mentally pulling away from him with everything that she went through. And I was like, oh, this hurts so hard.
Yeah, I feel like part of what made it like less hard was the fact that Fenris didn't die. So like even when she was still withdrawn from everyone else, like there were so many moments of them like doing their little blinking code at each other and like still checking in and like no one else knew what was happening. Everyone was like, they're blinking at each other. I don't know what that means, but I'm glad she's blinking at someone.
She's doing something. Yeah, and like Rowan's figured it out by now that they've got
Yeah.
their own little language that I love. Like even
Mhm.
I think in chapter 46 or whatever, they're still using it to check in with each other. And like clearly like both of them are still not doing all right. But they have
Yeah.
each other as that support system, which is really nice.
Guys,
I
I
will
love him.
Oh yeah. And that's why like, Brooke of Empire of Storms was like, yeah, it totally makes sense that Fenris is gonna die. And now Brooke now is like, I don't want Fenris to die. How the turns table.
Do you guys think he will die by the end of this?
Oh,
I don't know. I'm still like waiting to see if Connell's dead. Cause like I could just see
He's dead.
I don't know. No, I could see a battle scene where like they're going out and then like Connell's at Maeve's side and everyone's like, I thought you were dead. But like she had him healed somehow. I don't know.
maybe. I
I
can't
think
keep
he's
thinking
dead.
everyone's still alive, so I have to let some of them go. Yeah. I still think, like, if I'm thinking about it from a totally removed standpoint, I still think that there's a good chance that Fenris doesn't make it. But one of the biggest reasons that I had pegged Fenris as not making it was because he didn't, like, have that other person. And that he still, like, I think to where we are at currently, would still make a perfect person to sacrifice themselves for Aelin. But we also have people that may not be in relationships with people that they were in relationships with earlier, and we could just pair with Fenris. So I'm just gonna keep my fingers crossed over here.
But I also like the idea of like him possibly not dying and making it through even without a love interest. Because I feel like his connection with Aelin is super strong right now. And it's nice seeing her have a connection with someone that's not romantic, that like she almost is relying on him more than Rowan at this point. Like just where she is mentally. So I don't know. It would kind of be nice, like if, like, say we get to the end of the book and it's a happy ending and she has Harrison, having Fenris live just to like be at her side and like be a member of the court.
Yeah. And there was a moment that I was nervous. Like, I had that thought, like, is her PTSD so bad that it's somehow going to ruin what she and Rowan have? And I'm so glad that that is not the case. Like, they have come back, like, way stronger. Like, Jamie, you were talking about how we got those glimpses into, like, what life could have been. And Aelin tells us that, like, that wasn't the only time Maeve did that she did it all the time. And it was, like, all the many ways in which she and Rowan could have ended up together in like a less PTSD way. But she, like Aelin tells Rowan, like what Maeve didn't understand is that it was like us walking that path of darkness to the light together that like makes us as strong as we are. It's not like that fate chose us to be mates. It's like what we went through. And I loved that. I was like,
I
okay,
love that too.
yeah,
I'm so glad she wrote that.
yeah,
Mhm.
It
it's
was
great.
so good. Yeah.
So I also do
Yeah.
hope that she keeps Fenris because, like, I loved even just like the jokes about when she does the blood oath with Lorcan, like Fenris being all like, "Now I can't kill him," and she's like, "You can't kill him, but like maybe we won't invite him to holidays." And I'm like, I want to see that. Give me that. I want to see the winter solstice party where Lorcan's like, "Can I come in now?" And they're like, "Only if you brought dessert."
Like Lorcan's there, and Fenris is like, "I thought we weren't inviting him," and everyone's like, "We didn't. He just showed up."
Or they're like, he's married to a lead now, so we've got to make some concessions. Yeah, I want
Yeah.
that.
I think he's
Are you
gonna make
kidding?
it.
If they had a winter solstice and invited a lead and not Lorcan, a lead would make sure Lorcan didn't go.
Right now, maybe. I am still hopeful for the two of them.
No, I'm saying even if they like were together and married, like if they were like a lead, only you're invited, she'd be like, "Okay, I'll sneak out. Lorcan doesn't need to know."
Yeah. I could also see that. Her being like,
Yeah.
yeah, we all know that my husband's a piece of work. I'll leave him at home. Yeah. What are your thoughts as the number one proponent for a Lorcan? Are you hopeful? Are they gonna get through this?
I think they get through it. I feel like he's done a lot of making up, and like even the blood oath scene where he's like, "I don't want a blood oath to Aelin necessarily. Like I just got out of a blood oath, like getting into another one. I don't like. I'm kind of on the fence." And then like looking at a lead and being like, "But I can't leave a lead." Like, yeah, bruh.
I think it was like a step in the right direction for him. Like even though he says he's done trying to atone, like I think this is just like another way for him to show that like it's time to forgive him.
I appreciate that scene, especially like came after Lorcan had basically convinced himself that he didn't have a chance with her either.
Yeah.
It wasn't even him like, consciously saying, I'm going to do this to prove to her that I love her. It was
Oh
him
no.
saying, like, even if I can't have her, even if she's just going to be like living in the next town over and I have to be around her for like the rest of at least her life, I would rather that than to never be able to see her again. So for me, that was like, all right, buddy, you deserve her. Like, I don't know what needs to happen for the two of you to get out of your own way, but I think it's going to happen.
Yeah. And then Aelin going up to him afterwards and being like, "You still have a chance." And him going, "I don't think I do." And Aelin being like,
I loved
We
that.
know.
So cute. Like, Lorcan's just stupid. Like, but like, I think at this point, he's well intentioned, at least like toward the group and toward a lead. Like, he wants to do the right thing. It's just he's dumb.
I think
"He's
he's
dumb."
moved from number 1 to number 2 on the big dumb idiot list.
Has he been at number 1?
I
And
might
then
give him number 3 at this point. I can think of
after,
two people I think are more stupid than Lorcan.
I know who one of them is. Who is the second one?
I mean, honestly, I don't know if we want to go to Dorian at this point, but I would say Dorian
Oh,
is more stupid than Lorcan at this point. Because at least Lorcan is like, I love her and will do whatever, but I can also like resign myself to the fact that she doesn't want to be with me. And that's why he's not pushing it.
But for the
I
longest
think
time, it was Lorcan.
Yes.
the biggest thing in Lorcan's favor is he's always doing what he thinks is best for a lead. Like he would never ever do something that he thinks would intentionally hurt her. Unlike some other characters.
Do you want to get me started? Wait, I feel like we have to talk about the blood oath specifically. Like, how did you guys
Mhm.
feel about that? Because I did not see this plot trajectory in which Aelin basically went, Maeve, I see your cadre and I'm going to take them for myself, but I love it.
I didn't see it really coming either. And I
No.
was surprised when she offered to Lorcan, but it made sense.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. It makes a lot of sense, and I'm interested to see because like it makes sense for now that she can't trust Lorcan, and if he's gonna help her, like she needs him to make this promise. So it'll be interesting seeing how that plays out like later if like they keep the blood oath and like he just keeps his like I'll always protect Harrison oath and that's it. Or if like eventually she'll just be like you can be your own person now. I don't know.
I think even because I mean what Aelin has said is that this is the only oath I'm ever going to have you
Mm-hmm.
hold to, is that for the rest of your life you need to like do whatever you can to protect the people of Terrascent, and I will never tell you you have to do anything else. And I'm wondering if like giving him that space to
Mm-hmm.
realize that she's telling the truth and she isn't going
Mm-hmm.
to like hold him to another vow will make him step up more in a way that he never would have for Maeve, and like realize what a great leader Aelin is.
I'm interested because I haven't thought about the fact that Aelin basically took Maeve's entire cadre and was like, they're mine now. And like everyone that was in the cadre is either deceased or in Aelin's like new cadre. Or there's that random guy that's off in the middle of
Vaughn,
nowhere. Like, when's he coming in? Like it's
he
like he's
has
gotta show
to.
up.
He
Wait, does
has
everyone
to.
remember like what is he doing? What is he doing? I
So
forgot about
He
him.
yeah, go ahead, Elena.
he like is an osprey and he was like sent with Gabriel and
Fenris?
Fenris.
Fenris to go and kill Lorcan. And whereas they were like actually looking for him, he was like, I'm just gonna fly away and look for him. And like is kind of flouting the oath right now, is how it was framed.
Yeah,
Okay.
Vahan found the loophole that he was like, yeah, I'm gonna look for Lorcan in the north, like knowing there's no way Lorcan is in the north, and he's just like chilling in the mountains looking for Lorcan.
And he's a shifter bird, right? He's just
He's
into
an
a bird
osprey.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, that's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
We've
I mean,
we've
we
got
gotta see
all
him
of them.
soon, right?
Yeah, we've got
He's just
all of them
gonna.
except for Vahan and Connell, because Connell's super dead, Elena. Super dead.
Yeah, because
I
they
could just see him not being
Fenris
dead.
Fenris made a comment how, or no, not Fenris, Aelin, saying how Fenris hasn't done his teleporting skill, and she wondered if it was because he lost his twin because it was like a twin power or something, but that was just a guess. And I'm like, we need to see more of this teleporting.
Teleporting. Definitely need more of that.
Teleporting.
But it's like, they're both still super messed up. Like Aelin still hasn't used her magic either. And like I have a theory about that. And I think it's that she wants to use it all at once somewhere very important, maybe in the direction of a witch tower or 5.
She's
But
about to decimate like in front of Aniel, right?
I mean, I think that that's also an option. Like that's how they clear it out so that they can then like move on. Because I liked how that was the last line of chapter 48. It was like, all right, how do we clear out these vows so then I can use you guys elsewhere?
Remember what was it? I think it was Sartag or something. He was like, "Oh yeah, worst case, I was gonna destroy the dam."
Yes.
Not gonna destroy the dam now? Like are all
I don't
of
think
our
so.
theories like they were like, oh, there's this good dam, and we were like, they're definitely gonna blow the dam, and then he said he was gonna blow the dam, so now they're not gonna blow the dam.
Or maybe they still do and they can like use Rowan's like ice wind power to like make it like curve it so that it doesn't take out people it shouldn't. Because that was the whole thing they were talking about. Like, we almost blew the dam, Hosar, and then you like come in with the cavalry and you almost died. They got to get their cell phones and like just quick call, quick text, like coming in with the horses, don't blow dam.
Like now I don't know where I stand on the whether or not they're gonna blow the dam thing.
I don't know.
It confused me.
I'm okay if I'm wrong.
It's still a possibility.
Yeah.
But if they don't blow the dam, I'm gonna read out.
No. That's what I was going to say is I'm okay if I'm wrong because I did not agree to you reading the last chapter of our next book if I'm wrong.
Why was that an option?
Elena is just chaotic evil. right now.
She is.
Most are chaotic neutral.
Yeah.
Um,
I think they might still do it, but now that they've said it out loud, I can see how they wouldn't.
mhm.
Trying to fake us out.
But yeah, so Aylin's catching all the cadre members like Pokemon, which is great. And she has Lorcan now, which I love because I think that she and Lorcan are working toward understanding each other better, and that there will be a time where they might not be like buddy friends, but have like a mutual respect for each other.
He needs friends.
He
doesn't have any.
He does need friends.
Him and her are friends now. Wasn't there like a thought where he was like, I've never had friends and now we can kind of be friends? No, am I imagining this?
Lorcan and who?
Hello, yeah, who?
I thought either Lorcan or Rowan had a thought about like how they couldn't really be friends with the cadre members before. Like, oh, it was one of them had a thought and it was like they thought of the other one as a brother, whether it was Fenris or
It was Rowan and
Gabriel.
Fenris. It was when Fenris, after Fenris had taken the blood oath, when they were in the treasure trove room where Aylin's just like trying to like low key pick out some engagement jewelry, but then they're like, let's also take all this gold with us. Yeah, Fenris kind of like starts opening up about Connell, and Rowan like comes and gives him a big hug and is like, it's okay, bro. And he's like, oh, like we're brothers again, but in like a really different way.
Yeah.
Which I liked.
Yeah.
Do we think that she gives the blood oath to Gabriel? Because it's sort of been brought up.
I don't know why she's not. Like, they make a comment where they were like, we don't know why she's not giving it to Gabriel. And I was like,
Right.
I don't know why either.
I think because there's a conflict of interest with Adian, it being Adian's father. Like, at least that's how I see it.
Like, she'd need Adian's permission or something to be like, hey, like, are you guys good?
Yeah, like, are you cool with this?
Yeah. Does that mean we can go off about Adian now? Like, are we there?
Let's do it.
I would like to go off about Adian because I have been standing up for that prick for multiple episodes, and he threw me under the bus. Literally, I kid you not. This is me reading this book, and Lysandra is like naked, kneeling on the ground, like they just had the worst battle of their lives. And Brooke, stupid idiot that I am, was like, oh my God, this is the moment. Okay. He sat next to her, he kneels down in front of her, and I was like, yes, thank you. Tell her you love her. Tell her she's great. And then he tells her she's useless, and I was like, oh, buddy, we have no.
I was pissed.
So pissed.
I was annoyed with him at the end of Empire of the Storms, but now I was even more pissed. That's not okay.
It wasn't okay. Like, it was
not okay.
not okay at all. At all.
It was such a bad scene. Like, she's so like drained from fighting all day. And
she probably like fought the most, took down the most. Like, I don't know how much energy like shifting takes, but like
in my head, I was like, can we have a kill count Adian versus Lysandra, like in the two towers where Gimli and Legolas are like going back and forth?
Because no one counts as one.
I love that.
Yeah. And even like regardless of that, because like Lysandra's busted, so like of course she's gonna be better than Adian, who's just like a human with some fae mixed in. But like the fact that he still in that moment takes his anger out on her and makes it like it's her fault. And again, it's not his fault either. It's no one's fault. This is just like a shitty situation. But for him to blame it on her and then toss her out into the snow with nothing but a cloak on, I'm like, my guy, like you have erred grievously. So angry.
Yeah, and Brooke, you were ahead.
I was angry for days. I was like, you guys need to get to this chapter so I can vent. I trusted him. Like I voted for him, and then he was like, I see that, and I say no.
He has too much anger and doesn't know how to vent it. in
No. And he doesn't own up to them or like put blame on himself or have any inkling of like, okay, this maybe I did something wrong. Maybe it
He
is like
does.
part of it is my fault. He
He
does?
does a little bit internally, and that's why I was like, saying like he's understanding that what he's doing is wrong on the inside, but it's like, dude, that's not enough. Like, you need to come out outside of your head and say, I'm sorry for what I did. And he just is not
Yeah.
capable.
There was a line that I
well,
was so pissed off about because it sounded like he was more concerned about his role as the general and his reputation more than a human being.
Yep.
Not
It's not
okay.
okay.
and he's more concerned about being right, where he's like, this, like, if you had told me about this plan, I would have told you, like, how this was going to happen and why it was so bad, because, like, you were never going to be Aelin, like, you're not good enough. It was like, excuse me, sir, are you just taking this as a moment to say that you were right? Like, is this the time?
Right. And it's like, because as much as I still stand by, like, I understand in the baby stages of him figuring this out that it was a lot for him to handle. I understand the
Mm-hmm.
immediate emotions. At this point, it's totally unacceptable to still be holding any sort of anger. It's like, Adian, this was not your decision to make. This was Aylin's
That's like
decision to make.
another, it's that Fey
Right.
Eagle thing where like it's like he's owed this information.
Yes.
He's owed the blood oath. He's owed like Aylin's game plan.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating.
No way he's getting
Yeah.
the blood oath, right? Like, if she's not giving it to a lead because she wants, like, because he's also the head of one of the houses, isn't he? Isn't he one of?
No.
Oh, he's not. Okay, never mind.
That's like the whole thing, is that the blood oath was all that he had. But like, do you guys remember when Rowan is being really, really sweet with Aelin, because Aylin's like, I want to still be with you, but like there is a non-zero chance that I still have to die at the end of this. And Rowan's like, then we both die. And she's like, but you need to rule Terrasen. And he's like, Adian can do it. I was like, Adian can't do it. I mean,
A
I loved it.
lead.
Like, yes, I fully agree that, like, if at the end of this Aelin has to die, I want to see both of you go down, because I'm just going to be a crying mess anyway. You might as well both go. But do not leave Adian in charge. Dude can't handle it.
I do not need another. If I die, this person also dies at the same time. Bond. Absolutely not.
I will
I'm just
take
over it.
all of the death pacts. All of them. Give them to
I
me.
know we have Kael and Irene. What's one more?
What's one more? They're not making a pact, Elena. It's just Rowan's basically like, I'm a ease out. I'm not doing more life without you. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, Adian cannot rule. Absolutely not.
I will after, like, now that I've now gone off on that, I will put myself out there and I will say the unpopular thing, that I could still watch the two of them be together, but he needs to do a significant amount of work that I don't know is possible, even in the number of pages we have left in this book.
I just feel like it would be so hard, like, to go back to someone that treated you like that.
Put
Yeah.
you down,
Right.
called you useless, a
Right.
lying bitch. Like,
Yep.
she
Especially,
deserves so much more.
no, I totally agree. And that's why I'm 100% fine with her finding somebody else. Even,
I
oh
don't
yeah,
think
what?
he ever thanked her.
No, no. And I think that chapter 47 could be a turning point for him. Like, this is his last chance. Like, he realized as he watched her potentially die because of what he said, that he had been wrong. And it's like, dude, too little, too late.
Yeah.
But he saved her. He ran, like, got her out of the path of fire. And I think that if he can really make this a turning point and, like, genuinely make some change, I could see it happening. But it's like, it's not one scene. It's not like oh, I'm sorry for what I said. Will you take me back? No, I won't. Like, there's going to have to be some significant stuff. And I could see, like, this book ending with like the two of them maybe thinking about making it work. Or she could just be with Fenris. I'm also okay with that.
Or Ren.
Literally
Ren
anyone.
knew it was
Ren
would
coming back with
never.
a scoop, being like, what did you do with the woman? It's like, yeah, this guy, so much better.
yeah.
I'd be okay with Ren. I would love that for her. Adian, I don't know. It would be really hard for him to be worthy of her at this point.
He deserves to lose her.
I just hope that she, you know, she values herself and that she knows not to accept his apologies right away. Like,
I'm
I know,
not
but I
too
hope
worried.
so.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I am a little worried about that because we see from her point of view that the reason that she pretends to be Aelin at the end of the fight, in part, is because of Adian calling her useless. And she says, like, I'm going to not be useless. Like, I'm going to prove to him I'm not useless. So there is a part of her that believes what he said, which is awful. But also part of why she did it is because it was a great plan. Like, try to rally the troops behind their queen. And it worked until they got the shit blasted out of them by a witch tower.
Yikes.
When he threw that sword, though, like, into the head, I was like, damn, you go, Adian. Still not enough, but you go. You try.
No.
Still not enough. No.
No. He's going to need to be, like, on his knees groveling from now until, like, their wedding day.
He needs to grovel more than Lorcan's been groveling.
Right. And that's why Adian is definitely number one most stupid person in this book right now. I think closely followed by Dorian, and then Lorcan. Lorcan's been
I feel like I will debate you on that.
Oh, I would. I yes, please. I would love it.
I say Dorian is third.
So you think Lorcan is still second?
Yeah, I still think he's second.
Well, Lorcan's not doing anything dumb anymore. Like, he hasn't made any big dumb idiot moves recently. Like, everything he's done.
So you think Dorian should be second?
I mean, I still think Kale should be second, just personality-wise. Like,
Get
knows his
Kale
wife
out
is
of it.
pregnant.
No, leave him alone.
Knows his wife is pregnant and, like, just doesn't say anything. Like,
They've
can't
been
figure out
in a
why.
busy.
They've been busy.
Okay. All right. Wait. Are we talking about Dorian? Are we going to Dorian?
Dorian.
Yeah, I can't shout about Adian being the worst anymore.
We can't.
Wait, actually, first, next
you can
Adian
shout
scene,
more about Dorian.
Wait, no, I just have a question. Like, can we take that to next Adian scene? Will he be groveling or will he call Lysandra names again?
Probably. I think this is a shift for him. I really do. I think that he realized he almost lost her and that it was his fault.
There was like a whole page of him saying, like, I take it back, like all the things that he said.
And that scene was so well written, and part of me was like, there's no way Lysandra dies in this moment. There's so much more she has to do. But the other part of me was like, I want to be sad in this moment for what you're going through, and I'm just angry. I'm angry that you allowed this to happen and that you're choosing this moment to realize how much she means to you and how amazing she is. And I'm just like, dude, I don't want Lysandra to die, but you deserve to lose her in this moment. You deserve to watch her die in front of you and never be able to do anything about it.
Damn, yeah.
I want them to work out because I think they have something beautiful, but I totally, if he like apologizes and says he'll do anything and she walks away from him, I will stand up and clap the whole time.
I just feel like we've heard him feel bad in his head before, and it wouldn't surprise me if he somehow still managed to tell her she was worthless and that's why she almost died.
I think that it's important for him to go through a really high stress situation and now make a different judgment call, because that's what it is, right? Is like
Adian was great.
Adian was always great to her in like lower stress situations, like was always supportive, very nice, loved her, like gave her the space and time that she needed. But it was like as soon as like this high stress stuff started happening and everything was on his shoulders, he couldn't prioritize her anymore. But literally, like, I think a half of like their remaining forces just got literally turned to smoke, and they're about to potentially like all die. And like, if in this moment he can turn it around and prioritize her, I will entertain it. She doesn't have to.
That's fair. I don't know. I'm
See?
still stuck with him.
Yeah.
I
I don't
think
know
he
if he has
lost
it
all
in
trust.
him. I
What was
hope he
that?
does. I think Elena said she's lost all trust in him.
Okay.
Guy
And
has done the wrong thing too many times.
and that's why it would need to be like, dude, you need 100% record at this point. Like,
Mhm.
there's no room for error now. Like,
That was your last mess up.
right. Like, you've used all of your potential mess ups. Like, at this point, it's 100% or nothing. So like, if you mess up again, it's an absolute no from me. But like, even if you don't ever mess up again, it can still be a no from her because you have fucked up enough, my guy. Alien. And Dorian is not nearly that bad. But this is my argument for why he is worse than Lorcan. Because at the very least, Lorcan has realized that he loves a lead, would do anything for a lead, would be with a lead, like gave the blood oath to Aelin in part for a lead. Dorian, on the other hand, is just like, I still do not feel feelings. I might tell you I kind of care about you, but then the minute you tell me you care about me, no, it cannot be mutual. That means things might happen. And I'm like, come on, guy, what?
Lorcan would never in his life think about calling a lead worthless. Dorian might consider calling Manon worthless. Like, I could see him doing it.
I don't think he would say that in those words. I feel like he'll be a little more a regal about it, or like more
Like,
more.
you could have done more, Manon.
Yeah, like something like that.
I think that
I think
Dorian has such a huge respect for Manon. Like, I think that
I think he does. Yeah.
yeah, I think he totally thinks that she's a great ruler, like, definitely does things that are wrong sometimes, but I don't think he ever thinks that she's like worthless or useless. I think it's just like he's just afraid to have a relationship with anyone.
I think that's why like I'm a little more forgiving towards Dorian is because he's been through so much loss, and that's his PTSD that like he doesn't want to like love someone and lose them again. And he's scared that if he opens up with to Manon or open his heart and be rejected, um like I don't know if he can handle that again. But I think as readers we're frustrated because it's so obvious for us that these two people love each other.
It's so obvious. Oh my
also
god.
the plot's helping Dorian a little bit because Dorian was fully prepared to go into Morath without telling her, but the fact that she knows also helps them like figure that out, which wasn't a choice on his part, but it's better that they're on the same page now.
I feel like we
Yeah.
need more situations where like it puts them to show that like oh they do carry each other, even though their words won't say it.
Manon, when she's like, it's been an hour. Why isn't he back out of the mountain yet? Like, is he still exploring? He's fine. I'm not worried. He's fine. I'm worried.
Literally, it even said that her hands were shaking. Like, and she's just the whole time like, this does not mean what it means. And I'm like, it means what it means. Did you
She
guys
needs
also
more.
love that? Yeah.
I was gonna say she needs more love lessons from Astrid. Astrid
Seriously,
like
though.
shows so much more emotion
Yeah.
than Manon.
Or like love lessons from Abraxas, who was like, fuck tying me up. I'm going to go find my dragon mate. And like found them and was like, what did you do with Nyreen?
I will say I was very impressed by both sides of the queens. Aelin giving her speech and Manon giving her speech to like the witches. really impressed.
Yeah. Yeah, especially to go in there. And I really liked the turn that the plot took where she was like, all right, I'm going to go try to get other witches to be on my side just in case the whole Crochan thing doesn't work out. And just like go in there with people, not that maybe she thought were friends, but like family. And they all hate her. They're all like, calling her Crochan bitch and stuff. And to still like
It's gonna
tell them,
work.
oh, it's
I think
totally
so
gonna
too.
work. But like that speech was super touching. I thought it was amazing.
Astrid!
I was gonna cry again because of Astrid.
Yeah.
And this is like this would have been like the third time she made me cry.
Yeah. Well, and when she was like, how many of you had to go through what Asterin did, and like just
Yeah.
the hush that fell over, it was like, oh God, this has happened so many times.
Chills. Yeah.
It's definitely gonna work though. Like they're all gonna come out and join Manon's witch army.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that like before that happens, like I figure that the next scene or like scene or two has to be like, okay, Dorian, I told you that if you could successfully use a disguise here, that you can then go to Morath. And I have to assume Manon's going to be like, I'm coming with you. Like, we're going to
She
make the plan
has
together.
to,
She has
right?
to. Yeah. Well,
I
it's
was
like,
so
Oh,
yeah. I'm worried that he's gonna go by himself, and I don't want him to.
how is Manon gonna go? Like Manon is so recognizable. Like it's not like she can just walk into Mora.
I think that it like, and I think I said this before, but I think it's gonna be like Manon like groveling for their acceptance again and like bringing them someone. And I don't know who that someone is. Like if Dorian can make himself look like Aelin, or if what it ends up being. But I think they're both gonna go.
I don't think they could do that because if Manon brings in Aelin, immediate Erewhon attention. Which like the second Erewhon looked at fake Aelin, I think he would know. Like I feel like it has
Maybe.
to be sneakier.
Maybe
Yeah.
a lead, because like I think Vernon is still there.
Maybe.
Or like
But,
Manon just like waits where it's safe outside of Morath where they won't see her, and she's like the getaway wyvern. And she's like, all right, you go in, but like if you're not out in like 55 minutes, like I'm coming in hot.
yeah.
Or Manon goes as Manon and gets more witch army.
That's the other possibility. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't think she sends him by himself. I think this is like they're getting to the moment where they have to be like, okay, we care about each other. And even in the little time we have left, because I still don't think Dorian's going to kill himself either to remake the lock, that they'll be like, let's at least stick together. You still think Dorian's going to die?
I don't think there's a chance Dorian dies.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
I hope not. Can you
I
just
know.
picture what Aelin and Dorian's kids would look like? They'd be so cute.
You mean Manon and Dorian's kids?
Yes, that's what I meant. That's
Okay.
that's what my brain thought. Ugh.
I thought you meant like, oh, Aelin and Rowan's kids, and then Dorian and Manon's
No,
kids, and their kids are just like hanging out.
he's so cute.
That would be cute.
Yeah, no, like Dorian and Manon's cute little like ice white hair, like shining blue eye kids, and be so cute.
Oh my god, it would match Aylin's shining white hair kids.
Doesn't have white hair, but covers.
Rowan has white hair, and
That's
their
true.
little kids had white hair.
That's true. That's true. That was really cute. Yeah, I really like them. I don't think Dorian's gonna die, and I think that they get out of their own way at some point. I just don't know what's gonna drive them, like one of them to finally be like, "I love you," say it back.
Maybe this will be it. Like something happens in
Yeah.
Morath. Maybe she follows him to Morath and she saves him or something. I don't know.
Yeah, she could do the sneaky sneak after him.
Yeah.
But they have
But
to be
she also
together.
He's still dumb.
she needs to lead the witch army though, unless Asterin does it while she sneaky sneaks into Mora.
This is just a side quest, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. Who else? There's so many people that.
Hale,
Oh yeah, Hale and
who I
Irene.
personally think is the second biggest dumb idiot. Just like that's his place. Like he can do whatever, but
Forever.
that's just where he lives. Because Dorian is being dumb, but like just as a person will always be slightly less dumb than Kale.
Yeah.
I feel like he's off the list for me ever since Tower of Dawn. And I was actually surprised that his father was the one that was to tell him that his wife is pregnant. And it was all because of like Kaol wanted to lead the army. And I think like because his dad I mean I don't know. I feel like maybe that's his dad's redemption is that like even though he's a shitty father, like he doesn't want to take that from Kaol and put him in harm's way. So like no son, like I don't think you should leave because there's a risk that you'll die. So yeah.
Yeah. I personally am really proud of Kale. And I think that, like, he did the big dumb guy thing that is in a relationship with a woman, and they just, a lot of them are like, whoa, what? She was pregnant? I had no idea. And they just, but so, like, I don't judge him for that. But the fact that, like, he also, like, didn't go confront her or anything and is like, I mean, and they've got a lot going on. Like we were saying, they're in day 5 of a siege. Um, but he's like giving her space and he's being safe. I mean, he's still like part of the battle and he even has a moment where he thinks like I'm going to stop this siege tower to make sure that she's safe and our child can grow up in like a good world, but he's not doing anything like super super risky and also is like not putting himself first, which was something that like pre Tower of Dawn Chaol would never have done. He would have been like, why is she draining my power? I could be off sword fighting. And instead, he's just like, I can lead these guys from horseback. This is fine. She's got something more important to do.
Yeah, he definitely has grown a lot. And even like his reunion with Aelin was just so different compared to how he was treating her before Tower of Dawn.
You
We're
mean
like,
their last reunion in Queen of Shadows?
Yeah, I thought about that too. Like just the stark difference between their reunion at the
Yeah.
beginning of Queen of Shadows versus this.
Guys, I was in tears. I was like sobbing. And they weren't sad, they were happy.
I didn't
So
cry,
hormonal.
but it was so cute. It was like show and tell. It was like, look, I got a wife and she's real
look,
cute and I
I'm
love her.
married.
Yeah, and Ayla was like, look, I got a husband and he's great and we're all happy. And I was like, oh, this is so fleeting, but I will take what I can get.
I think what really got me was that like Aelin seeing Kale standing
Mm.
and having that like such belief in him that he will be healed. And it was just like it's so different from like book was it book 1 or 2, Selena, where like she almost killed him.
Book 2. Yeah,
And
they've all come a really long way when you think back to
okay.
those first few books. But yeah, just like the fact that Aelin and Kaol can be so supportive of each other and so happy for each other with everything that they've gone through was really nice to see.
Yeah.
And she remembered Irene.
That was so great. That was everything I wanted.
So good.
And like when she was like, "Can I keep this to the note, or like does it go in there like to her locket?" And Irene's like, "No, like I've just been borrowing it. It's yours." I was like, "Oh my god, you
Oh.
guys, so great, so great." But yeah, I'm not worried about them. Do you still think they're gonna die, Elena? Yeah.
There's still the like if we're saying that someone has to die in this big battle, there's still the chance that they loop in and tonks it.
I think it's Adian now, honestly. Like that's my number one
I
guess.
I mean I also still think it's Gabriel. Like there's no way Gabriel makes it out. Like we haven't talked much about him because I feel like he didn't do a ton in
this section, but yeah, I agree it could be Adian, but I don't know, I could see Irene and Kale. I don't know.
It could happen.
Was it also this section that Irene told Kale's dad that he was an idiot and the worst dad on the planet? Because
It was
if
in the
not, I
first.
would like
That was in the
to come back.
Yeah, that was in the first 24 chapters.
That's my bad. I just love it.
Yeah.
In terms of great Irene moments.
No, she's so great. And even like when Aretia is like, you know, she admits that she knows that Irene is pregnant too. And she's like, you really shouldn't be doing all of this. And Irene is like, thank you for your opinion. I choose to not take it and I will continue healing people.
And now that Aylin's here, I'm waiting for the moment that Aylin meets Kale's dad and also tells him he's the worst, because that is going to happen.
Most likely. I'm just waiting for someone to ruin the whole pregnancy thing. Like, we now have like 5 different Fae people in this tent that can all definitely smell that she's pregnant. So at what point are they like,
even
also
Aelin?
Congratulations?
That's so true. It could still be Rowan.
It could.
I was gonna say I really liked the moment between Aelin and Hassar. Is like they met each other's match. Because remember when we didn't like her in Tower of Dawn?
Such a strong personality.
In the moment where Sartak like knew who the entire cadre was, and Kale was like, "Who are these random guys? They seem powerful," and Sartak was like,
His spies helped fill it in.
Yeah, I'm excited for all of the moments coming up of like the different people that we haven't seen together, like having moments.
Borte and Erin. Oh, come on. Yeah, they hooked up. Come on, right? And Nesrin was just like, wait, you guys did what?
Yeah.
I need their backstory. I don't know how we're gonna get it, but I just desperately need their backstory.
There was a moment I highlighted that said something along the lines of like, they won't admit it, but like they would kill for each other or something like that. Something very similar. And I was like, oh, that's love, guys.
Yeah, I loved that line too. Even when they're like, you know, razzing each other and like dive bombing each other on their roofs and trying to pretend like they don't love each other. I'm like, oh God, you guys got it bad.
Mm-hmm.
So cute. Yeah. It was funny. You bring up that, and like Nesrin was really surprised because you know she mentions like, oh well, I thought maybe you and Yaren would get married so that you could have your wedding night, and she was like, don't you worry, been there, done that. And I was like, I had the thought in my mind, like, have Nesrin and Sartok slept together? Because she makes the comment that like they had been sharing a tent like the whole time, and I took that to be like, been there, done that. But did she mean that they've platonically been sleeping together for months? I'm worried.
I don't know.
Last time we really got their perspectives was like their first kiss.
Right.
Yeah.
Like in the cute alleyway outside of her uncle's house.
Yeah.
When Sartok was basically like, I'm going to be the heir and I would like you to be my heiress. I was like, oh, okay. We've now like made our intentions known. I just figured stuff was going on in the tent, and now I'm worried stuff wasn't going on in the tent.
Maybe they just don't like to, you know, kiss and tell. I don't know.
I would like a Nesrin and Sartok chapter because we have not gotten any of that in this book, and I miss it.
Yeah, no. Same.
Mm-hmm. Nice shout out to Nesrin in the tent though when Aelin walked in and Kale was like, couldn't have done it without. It was like, yeah, you're right. She carried Tower of Dawn for you.
Seriously, yeah. Yep, it was all Nesrin. Not all Nesrin, but it was a lot of Nesrin.
Yeah, and I know one thing we talked about before that we haven't like talked about in the episode, but I just don't understand how Aelin got to Aniel. Like for the life of me, until they explain it in this book, like it was teleportation.
Something was coming out of the sky. So they have that moment where like Aelin and Fenris are like, yeah, we're both still pretty messed up. And then Rowan is like in his hawk form and he's like checking on the ship to see if it's ready to go. And he like comes out of nowhere, and Fenris is also like super scared, and then Rowan's like, look, like up at the sky, and that's where the chapter cuts. And then they're at Aniel. So it's like it had to have been Rooks, right? Like somebody went and picked them up.
Rooks or a catapult? I don't know.
I don't know.
Because I feel like if they were that close, wouldn't they be in Oakwald or whatever that forest is called?
I think they were close enough to get there pretty quick if they flew. It's just they definitely didn't say like how it all happened, which I'm
Yeah,
guessing is
no.
coming in the next section.
Yeah, when that chapter ended and it said something that like, oh, Chaol saw someone he didn't expect to see or something like that, I thought it would be like, I don't know, Coggin. So
Yeah.
Sartak's father or something. So I'm like, who else would it be?
It's Aelin.
Where's Coggin's door now on this map? Because that's where they started.
They never,
Dor-
for some reason, they don't show the
Yeah.
the
Dornell
continent.
is on Wendland.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not
which
on the
they
map.
don't show on here? Damn.
Mm-mm.
But they had pulled over. They pulled over their boat. They said like on the border of Fenharrow and Aderlan. They were in an inn. So I think they're just like not that far from Aniel, because Aniel is just like in the mountains, like straight west of there.
Yeah.
Looks pretty
Or
far.
depending on how my camera is.
Yeah.
This
Which
way?
direction
This
are we? You all know what west means, right?
yeah.
Yeah, it's that was my assumption, that somehow someone with Rooks like got wind that she was there, because they even kind of mention that when they come out of the cave and they like use all of their ancient treasure trove gold to like buy passage on the ship. They're like, basically Kat's going to be out of the bag pretty quickly because like we're kind of hard to fly under the radar. So it wouldn't surprise me if someone had sort of caught wind that they were heading north to Terrasen and were like, maybe she'd come help us.
I just don't know who.
We're gonna find out. I'm guessing it's like the next chapter.
I just want to find out now.
Oh, we
Well,
know.
But you can, because once this episode's over, you can go read the next chapter.
No, I have stuff I need to do tonight, guys.
Then whenever you have time, you can keep reading it.
And a
Brooke,
shocking turn of events.
we could read ahead of her this time.
We could read ahead of
Stop,
her.
guys! I literally have a 4-hour drive tonight. You could get so far ahead of me.
Oh my god, Jamie, think of how much we can read in 4 hours. You could probably get like 20 chapters done, and I could get like 4 chapters done, and then we'll ruin it for Elena.
Brooke,
I'm
just
gonna mute
don't
the group
sleep.
chat.
Just don't sleep. I know that is really my problem. I need to read faster, stop taking notes, and not sleep. Yeah, was that all? Like so much happened, but did we cover at least like the big points? Do we talk about everything everyone's been wanting to talk about? Also, if we forgot anything, just like come chat us in the Discord or leave a comment and we'll chat it up. But
I think when Elena said there hasn't been enough of like Gabriel content, which is slightly true, I just kept thinking back to the scene where he and Elite are in the inn and they're eating porridge, like flavorless, bland porridge. I'm like, what do you mean? Like he was in this scene?
Is that when they glare at Lorcan and Lorcan leaves?
yes.
And he sees them, he's like, whoop, turn around.
That scene was so beautifully useless. Like nothing happened except for like it was like, oh okay, so Elite still hates Lorcan. Lorcan's still convinced he has no chance with Elite, and Gabriel.
Each other.
Yeah, Gabriel is just staying out of it and eating his gruel.
He's like that dad, just like watching these awkward teenagers.
Awkward teenagers. One is like 20 and the other one is like 2000.
I love that Elite and Lorcan's relationship started with Lorcan being like, I could murder her at any time. And now if he tried to murder her, just think about how dead Lorcan would be so quickly. Like Gabriel, Aelin, Fenris, like
Manon.
Yeah, I wonder if that's like, I mean, not that Lorcan would ever try to kill a lead, but I think there's got to be like some part of the oath that he took to like protect the people of Terrasen. I don't think he could murder a lead, even if he wanted to.
Well, know what else is weird? Sorry, I just thought of this, like, as I was, like, worrying in my head, because Gabrielle's been, like, fixing Elite's leg for her, but when
Mhm.
she walked into the tent, she has the limp. So I wonder if something happened, like, so their magic reserves are low.
Maybe, or he wasn't thinking about it at that time. I thought you were going to mention how Irene saw a lead's limp and immediately was like, I can fix that.
I was thinking that too. I thought that too when I read it.
Yeah, I can't
No,
wait until
I
Irene is like, I don't want to be rude, but like, can I look at your foot?
it just registered in my head that that's weird because I think Gabrielle, like, has made a point of always
That's true.
fixing it for her.
Yeah, and maybe it was just like plot convenient so that Irene would notice it.
Maybe.
But yeah,
That's also possible.
maybe it is something about them not having magic as much as
Just in the
usual.
space where we've missed how they.
Right.
Oh, maybe Fenris teleported them all.
I don't think so.
That's a
No,
lot.
my worry is that he's going to do some teleporting to save some people's lives and possibly put himself at risk at some point.
Maybe he saves Lorcan and then hates himself for it.
I do kind of want Lorcan and Fenris to like get over it and forgive each other.
I think they will. I think they're all gonna be best friends now that they're not in Maeve's cadre anymore.
Right. It's like just give everybody space to heal and, forgive. This was a really good section of chapters, I have to say.
It was.
With every chapter, I want to read the next chapter because the story is amazing. And then every next chapter I read, I go, that's one less chapter before the book in the series is over. And then I get sad.
There was a lot
But
of emotions in this section.
what did we decide we're reading for next time? 48 through whatever 48 plus 24 is.
It's 49 because we started, like, we read through 48, and I just did 49 plus 24 is 73. So does that mean we're reading through 73?
I think it means we're reading through 72 because if we're reading every 24 chapters, it would be 48 plus 24. So I think it's 72. Right?
Yeah, through 72. Let me see how far that is. Oh, that's
Yeah.
not that far. Guys, this isn't. I don't like these small sections.
Whose idea was this?
Yeah, it's why some of the
Elena,
past books I've
stop
done
reading
it.
things in chapters you haven't gotten to.
I'm not reading it. I'm trying to find chapter 72. It's like a short section. It's like a real short section.
It is a short section.
How? Yeah, we should probably do it by page count.
All right, well, we'll let you all know
We'll
what we
figure it out.
decide. Because clearly this is the most we've ever
Guys,
struggled.
I was
because
holding it on wrong. It's this much.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Through 72.
Okay.
Through 72. Come join us for the next episode where we find out if Adian makes it so that it's worth like him continuing to live. We can find out who the biggest dumbest idiot is of the next 24 chapters.
Does that mean at the end of the series are we crowning someone the biggest dumbest idiot of them all?
Like taking the full series into account. I think we can definitely do that. Or like superlatives, like reasons, like for biggest dumbest, like something.
Can we please come up with superlatives? Like biggest dumbest idiot, like most likely to succeed.
Most likely to crash a whole glass castle and turn it into a wall. Most likely we can definitely do that.
Well, technically 2 different people did that. One person crashed it and one person turned it into a wall. So that would be hard to
Team superlative. Yeah.
Best friends!
Best friends that are not going to die at the end of this book. I'm gonna speak it into existence.
Cutest couple.
Prom queen.
That would actually be really hard. Cutest couple. I have thought about it, but yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
we can definitely do that. Shout out superlatives that you want us to name. But yeah, this was awesome. Join us for chapters 49 through 72, and we'll see you there. Thanks, guys.
See
Bye,
ya.
guys.